Yes, so good afternoon, one and all. I, Dr. Shalini Gautam, Associate Professor, Delhi Metropolitan Education, would like to welcome one and all who have take out their precious time to join for this very important webinar where we are going to talk about the career opportunities in Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University. So the basic purpose of this webinar is to facilitate all the students like you to take the informed decision regarding their career. Because if we see it right now, unlike in the past where the children were only thinking about medicine or engineering as the career options, right now there are n number of options for these students. They can become a successful lawyer, they can go to the media industry, they can be the budding managers, entrepreneurs, a whole lot of options are there. So keeping this in mind, we are going to talk about the various options that a student has when he opts for the Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, which is a state-run university, Delhi University. So here with us, we have Professor Dr. Ravikant Swami, Director, DME. Sir has over 24 years of experience in teaching and administration and holds a PhD degree from University of Rajasthan, Jaipur. So without much ado, I would request Sir to please start with the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, students, so at the outset, let me clarify the purpose of this session. The purpose is, in one word, I'll say information. Now, when we talk about information, we live in an era of information, but at the same time, we live in an era of over-information or misinformation. So in today's webinar, we are going to provide you as representatives of GGS IP University, what are the courses, what is the admission process and all that. So I'll begin with my presentation. Okay, so this is the picture of IP University, which is located in Dwarka, a few meters away from the metro station. You know this Dwarka, Noida, what we call it, the blue line. Now about this university, it was, it should be clarified in the beginning that the presentation will not be long. We'll be only talking about 25 minutes because I know the attention span of youth, especially who are in 12th and 11th class, is very short. So I'll not be taking much time, and 25 minutes, we are going to talk about 5 things. What are these 5 things? First, about IP University, then what are the professional courses there. Yes, admission process is important. You must know how to get admission. Then fee structure, बिल्कुल पैसे की बात करनी जरूरी है because we must know the return on investment. If your parents are investing their hard-earned money, they should be made aware about what they are going to get in return. And lastly, we are going to talk about the scope after pursuing these courses. Okay, so let us start with the first thing out of these 5. What is IP University? First and foremost, it's a government university because there are around 900 universities in our country, and these are divided into 4 categories: central universities, state government universities, private universities, deemed universities. So this is a government university because there are certain names which are misnomers also, and it seems as if it's a government university, but those universities are privately run. So it's a government university, and who owns it? Of course, it is run by the Government of Delhi. What we call Government of Delhi is called the Government of National Capital Territory, NCT as we call it. So it was established in 98. As far as the gradings are concerned, students, please try to understand what are these gradings. Like at the national level, NAC is there, and NAC has got many grades from A, B, C, D. These are the grades. So IP University is NAC A graded. ISO obviously is a small thing, I must say, not a big thing when it comes to a university. NIRF, yes, National Institutional Ranking Framework. These are the rankings provided by the government itself. The Indian government provides rankings to all the universities and educational institutions in our country. Now, as I said, there are 900 universities, and if IP Universities is having a rank of 95, try to understand the meaning of this. It simply means it stands among the top 10% universities in our country. Yes, top 10% is a good rank. When it comes to engineering, it is even better than top 10%. The rank of IP University's engineering courses is 86th. And when it comes to business management courses like BBA, the rank is even better. It is among the top 5% in this country. Then talking about the affiliated colleges, IP University affiliates colleges in Delhi and NCR. Now, what is NCR? National Capital Region is an area which is very well defined, which is legally, geographically defined, and it comprises the districts which are adjoining Delhi. So, be it Gautam Budh Nagar or Ghaziabad or Faridabad or Sonipat or Gurgaon. In these districts also, IP University has got a few affiliated colleges, right? So when we talk about Gautam Budh Nagar, yes, Noida, Greater Noida, these all are part of your Delhi NCR. The university has got 80 courses, about which we are going to talk in the second point. Yes, it's a very large university when you look at it from the international standards. 80,000 students means it's a big university, and the annual intake is 22,000. So having talked about what is IP University, next we'll come to a point which you must know before we talk about the courses. Now there are two kinds of courses. One, the academic courses, and second, the professional courses. Let us try to understand the difference between these two. My dear students, academic course is like MA History or MA Sociology or MA Psychology or even English Honors, which provides you knowledge. But a professional course trains you for a specific job, and therefore it provides you knowledge plus skills. Skills means what? Skills means how to apply that knowledge. So be it communication skills, or presentation skills, or how to apply, like in engineering, how to construct a building. So how to operate a computer, how to make a program. These are the skills. And above all, a professional course gives you attitude. Yes, attitude is very finely defined. When it was asked by two persons, like what is there in this glass? So one person said the glass is half filled, the other said it is half empty, right? So this is what we mean by attitude. One person looked at the filled part, other person looked at the unfilled part. So when we talk about attitude in the context of professional courses, it means making you corporate ready. And in terms of corporate, I can simply define attitude as work is worship. Work comes first, nothing doing. To give a very crude example, if my mother is sick today and I have a presentation today, the answer is presentation first, right? It's a very crude example, but then this is what we mean by corporate attitude. So to sum up this slide, academic course gives you only knowledge, which leads to your knowledge enhancement, obviously. But a professional course like a media course or a BBA or BBA LLB or any such course or engineering, it provides you knowledge. Second, how to apply that knowledge means skills. And third, the corporate ready attitude. Or we can say that a professional course is a training for a particular field. It leads to placements. Okay. moving on to the second part of our presentation. What are the courses available at IPU? Students, let us try to understand one thing, that Delhi government has got two major universities. One is the DU, second is IPU. Now these do not compete with each other because they are complementary to each other. एक दूसरे के विकल्प हैं. They are alternatives to each other in the sense that DU runs academic courses and IPU runs professional courses, right? Of course, it goes without saying that in the post-1991 era, I'm talking about the era which has globalization, privatization, and liberalization. In the post-LPG era, professional courses are in demand because the government sector is shrinking and the private sector is expanding, be it IT sector or banking sector or engineering firms. The government sector is shrinking. The government wants that the private sector should take the lead. So therefore, the demand for professional courses is much more vis-a-vis the demand for academic courses. Now, talking about the courses at IPU, this link is there, which will be provided to you after the webinar or even during the webinar through the chat box. You can go to this link, and this is the information brochure of IPU. Now, talking about the courses, I will not talk, say, in a sequence. Rather, I will divide the courses into 2-3 parts. First part is those courses for which no stream is required. Means what? It simply means, students, that whether you have humanities or arts or bio or maths or commerce or even vocational studies, it does not matter. You can take admission in these courses. You are eligible to take admission in these courses. Yes, 50% at 12th remains a mandatory condition. It is 45% in 12th for engineering courses. For all the other professional courses, it is 50% at your 12th standard. I'm sure the CBSE is devising a formula with which all of you are going to get more than 50%. Now, the first category of courses is the stream neutral courses, means students from any stream can take admission in these courses. So first one is BA LLB, means Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Law. So 2 degrees you get in 5 years. We call such courses integrated courses. So integrated courses are becoming very popular these days because it saves 1 year and you decide on your career right after 12th. So BA LLB is a 5-year integrated course. It gives you 2 degrees, BA and LLB. Then another course is BBA LLB at IPU. Yes, it gives you 2 professional degrees, BBA and LLB, right? So a management degree and a law degree. So that is why this course is very popular. Then Bachelor of Arts in Journalism and Mass Communication. Yes, OTT, right? OTT, everyone knows this small screen. This has become our entire world now. So whatever we are watching on this small screen is being prepared by the people who belong to mass communication. So yes, with OTT, Bachelors of Journalism and Mass Communication has now immense scope. Then the next professional course, which the first category is stream neutral. Please mind it, students. Students from any stream can take admission in these courses. The next is Bachelor of Business Administration. Yes, BBA is a course which trains you for becoming a manager. Then the next is Bachelor of Management, Hotel Management and Catering Technology. Hotel industry, yes, I must agree, I must acknowledge that this hotel industry is facing a big downfall in the post-COVID era. But then those who will take admission in 2021 will be graduating in 2025. And by that time, this industry will be at its boom, right? Second category of courses. Courses which are only for students who have PCM at their 12th, what we call science maths or what we call Non-medical. For the non-medical students, there are two major courses at IPU. One is Bachelor of Technology, what we call BTech, and second is Bachelor of Architecture. These are for students having PCM only. It is not like the courses I said previously, which are stream neutral, anyone can take admission. No, for engineering and architecture, you need PCM. Moving ahead about the courses, then we have a professional course in commerce called BCom Honors, then Economics Honors. These are courses like students who have commerce in 12th can go for BCom Honors. Those who have economics at 12th can go for Eco Honors. Then for bio students also, IPU has got many courses. Of course, IPU has got MBBS, but I must tell that yes, getting admission in MBBS is difficult because the number of seats are very less. We don't, in our country, we have good number of engineering colleges, but unfortunately, the medical colleges do not match that number. The number of medical colleges is not even 10% of the number of engineering colleges. Therefore, getting admission in MBBS because of less seats is little difficult. But then bio has got many other avenues also. Pharmacy, the medicine line, it has got a huge potential. Then nursing is also a course which IPU has, and this again has got a good potential. That was about the courses, students. I will be taking up questions at the end of the session, not in between. Coming to the third part of our presentation, the admission process. Yes, students, if we are representing IPU today in front of you, then we must tell you how to get admission. We must talk in exact terms. Very simple. You go to this link, which will be provided to you after this webinar. You click on this link, and then you will find a tab called Register. Register yourself for IPU courses, whichever course you want. The registration fee, my dear students, is rupees 1200, right? So you have to register. Now, important thing here is, if you want to go for engineering, along with IPU registration, you need to appear for JEE also. For JEE, the forms are open. Fortunately, this year JEE is going to happen 4 times. 2 times it has already happened. 2 more times it is yet to happen. So you can apply for JEE. The date is still there. 2 more attempts are there. You can apply for JEE. Then NATA is for architecture. CLAT is for law. But for each and every course, mind it, the registration for CET means it's not a separate test. It is the registration for IPU. That registration is mandatory for each and every course, and the last date for that registration is 15th July. Today is what? 3rd of July. Okay, you have 12 more days to go. So this is about the admission process. Now, again, in the admission process, we can divide the courses in 2 categories. One for which the national level tests are there, for which CET will not be conducted. Say, for example, engineering, law, architecture, no national level test is there. You have to, for these, a national level test is there. JEE for engineering, CLAT for law, NATA for architecture. You appear at that national level test, plus apply for CET also. So CET in this case simply means a registration. I'm not saying that you have to appear for 2 entrance tests. Please, students, try to understand this point. For engineering, law, architecture, you have to apply for the national level tests, and those scores will be accepted by IPU. So for those courses, simply register for IPU by paying 1200 rupees. While for other courses like BBA, journalism, hotel management, IPU will conduct its own entrance exam. So for CET registration, 15th July, 1200 rupees, fill your form. Another important part is there because of COVID. What is that? That university has started instant or on-the-spot admissions due to COVID, because they know that many students are facing very difficult circumstances, and the third wave may knock our door any time. Therefore, a special provision has been made, what we call on the spot. or visit and admit or instant admission kind of thing. So for that, the best way is you visit your nearby IPU college and you can get the admission. Your admission can be finalized on the spot. Okay, so this is about the admission process. I know students, so many queries coming in your mind. We are going to take up whatever time it may take. I'm going to answer all the queries. Coming to the fee structures. Yes, IPU is not like the private universities in Delhi NCR, which are charging hefty fee. Yes, you may take any name and you find that private universities are charging very high. IPU is, because it is governed by Delhi government, and Delhi government is obviously known for spending a lot on education. So 80,000 per year to 1,10,000 per year is the normal range for all the IPU courses. In some courses, it may be 80,000 per year. In others, it may be 1,10,000. So that is the range. Say, for example, BA LLB or BBA LLB, the annual fee is 80,000 only, right? And this fee differs from college to college, but the difference, the range will be this only. And since it is a government university, there are no hidden charges. The colleges will not charge you for examination or placement or tours or picnics, nothing doing. Single time, you pay the fee for the entire year and it is done, no hidden charges. So that's about the money. Now, how do you decide? How do your parents decide? I'll give you a simple parameter for taking a decision in terms of return on investment. Say, for example, there is a private university and there's a government university. In the private university, you take admission in BBA, the fee is 1,50,000 per year. In a government university, you take and the fee is 1 lakh per year. How do you compare? The comparison is simple. If in the end we find that similar companies are providing placement in both the private university and that government college, like IPU's colleges, then in which case the return on investment is better. Obviously, it is better in the case of government universities, right? So this is how you can understand how your parents' hard-earned money will provide return when it comes to your education. Okay, coming to the last part of the presentation, I told you I'll not take more than 25 minutes. The scope of placements. Yes, after a law degree, you can either practice on your own, or you can join a law firm, or you can apply for judiciary, or you can apply for many government jobs like legal advisors, legal officers. This is the scope of placement after a law degree. To summarize, you can start your own practice, you can join a law firm, or you can join a government job after law. And yes, you can also join politics after law. I can tell you what was common in Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Patel. All three were vakils, tino vakil the. Anyway, in the present scenario also, majority of our politicians are holding a law degree. They are advocates. So that is another brilliant option available for the law graduates. Coming to journalism, as I said, media, yes, with OTT platform, we call it over the top, right? With over the top platform, we have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, Sony Live, so many new things to come, and the scope is immense for the media industry now. With the theaters, the scope was limited, but with OTT, the scope is now immense. So this is about the scope of this journalism. Coming to BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration, the scope traditionally is in the areas of marketing, finance, and HR. And then there are new areas like international business, like operations, like retail, like pharma, like aviation sector. Every sector needs people to sell their products and services. And these are the management guys, right? Hotel management and catering technology. Yes, hotel management, it includes front office, your housekeeping, food and beverage. All of us are aware of great chefs like Sanjeev Kapoor and all that. So that is about hotel management. you manage the hotel, right? And hotel management also includes your travel and tourism, like ticketing, and all these things are also part of BHMCT. Coming to engineering, yes, here is a point, my dear students, because when we talk about engineering, in some branches of engineering, things are really bad. Say, for example, civil, yes, I must acknowledge that after demonetization, the civil industry, the construction industry in India is not doing well. It is doing very badly. All the builders, they are facing a lot of problems. So civil, mechanical, electrical, they are facing problems. So when I say engineering, the best branch is computer science. Go for computer science. Yes, my dear students, 8% of India's GDP is provided by the IT sector. Imagine the scope of IT sector in India. So India has got that IT advantage. Computer science engineers, they have a great scope. And yes, if you want to settle in a foreign country, I think this thing, Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science, can be the best, right? Okay. Talking about architecture, yes, architecture presently is facing a little low time, but then it's a 5-year course. By the time you will be graduating, it will again be having good time, because India is a country with lot of housing demand, lot of infrastructure demand, because we are a developing country, and therefore the demand for architects is bound to be there. Presently, it is subdued, I agree. Then Bachelor of Commerce honors, Bachelor of Economics honors. If you have 12th, in 12th, if you had commerce or economics, then these courses are also good. But then after these courses, you need to go for like MCom or MA Economics. Coming to pharmacy, yes, in the post-COVID era, countries, governments are going to invest in medicine. Therefore, pharmacy, nursing are also going to, they are also going to face a good time in the coming years. Towards the end of the presentation, students, the question which is coming in your mind is, which course is best for me? And what do you think? I'm going to answer that question. No, my dear students, we are counselors, and a true counselor will never tell you which course is good for you. Why? Because you see any course on this earth, you may do any course, we find a normal probability distribution, which means after doing any course, be it IIT or IIM or MBBS, 25% people do very well, 25% people do not do well, and the remaining 50%, they do good, they have a good life, they have a happy life. So therefore, I'll not suggest, I'll not be judgmental that which course is good for you. Our job as representatives of IPU is to tell you about the courses and their scope, and not to be judgmental. The last slide of this presentation. So what is the formula for success? My dear friends, the formula for success is acquire the right set of knowledge, the right set of skills, and the corporate ready attitude. Jobs are waiting for you. Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you. We can take up questions now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. It is always a pleasure to hear you. So students, the chat have been enabled now. So in case you have any questions, you can just type in the chat box. In fact, we have started getting few questions, sir. So the first question I would like to take is that how can we apply for CET exam? This is a question from Arushi. She is asking, how can we apply for CET exam, and when is the exam going to happen?
The last date for applying for CET is 15th July. The link is provided to you. The link is
already
there. Do we have it in the chat box?
Yes, yes, it is already there.
Link is there in the chat box. Just click that link, go to register, choose the course, submit 1200 rupees, and you will get a receipt. So you are registered for CET, right? And I'll again repeat, for engineering, law, and architecture, you need to appear for JEE, for which the date is also there. JEE is going to happen 4 times. Then NATA and that CLAT. You need to appear for those exams. Plus, in any case, you have to fill the CET. But for BBA, BJMC, hotel management, etc., IPU will conduct its own exam. For engineering, law, and architecture, IPU will accept the scores given by JEE or CLAT or NATA. Okay.
Sir, the second part of the question was, when is the exam going to happen, the CET exam?
Well, the last date of applying is 15th July, and please students note, for applying you don't need the class 12th result, because we are aware that your teachers are working hard for preparing your class 12th results. So the result will be declared by 31st July, I believe, but the last date is 15th July. So for applying for any IPU course, the last date is 15th July. The result of 12th is not needed. You can choose the option of appearing. As far as the exam is concerned, you can calculate if 15th July is the last date for applying. I believe the date for exam will be somewhere in middle of August. Okay, remember Independence Day, 15th August, the exam will be held around that date.
So the next question which we are getting is that, is IP University providing BCA course?
Yes, IPU University, IPU has a BCA course. Yes, it is having a BCA course.
Okay, sir, another question which we are getting from Anushika, she's asking what scholarship schemes are there in IP University?
Well, students, I must tell you that as far as per capita income is concerned, Delhi is the richest state in this country, and it means a lot. I'll tell you why. It means a lot because say if I have money in my pocket, I can spend it. So Delhi is the richest government in our country. I don't know, people say Maharashtra or Gujarat, but I can give you the figures. Delhi is richest, and therefore Delhi government spends a lot on education. As far as scholarships are concerned, Delhi government is the best government in terms of scholarships. Means you apply and you are going to get it. That kind of scenario is there, thanks to the Delhi government. So there are very good schemes, but those schemes are applicable once you enroll yourself, once you are admitted in any course in IPU or any say Delhi college.
Right. So the next question which I'm getting, there are two questions from different students. I can club them. One, Yatin is asking, what is the procedure to take admission in BTech course? And the second person is saying, how is the university giving admission on the spot for engineering,
Okay,
as mentioned in the PPT? This is by Muskan.
okay, so first I'll talk about the spot admission. Spot admission, as I said, you can visit the college, any college which is having BTech, and they'll book your seat, and then they'll guide you about how to appear for JEE, how to apply for CET. They will finalize your seat. They'll offer you a seat, and then they'll guide you for CET. So offering seat does not mean that you need not appear for JEE. You have to appear, but the seat can be booked. Please try to understand this process. Your seat can be booked, your admission can be finalized, because this is a special provision under these COVID circumstances. We don't know, any day third wave may come. I wish it does not come, but any day, people say in September 1st week. So therefore, considering the third wave, this special provision is there. So I suggest students, if you are interested in any IPU college, you simply visit the college. That's all. Rest, everything the college will take care of. They will give you admission. They'll offer you a seat. They'll finalize your seat. They'll also guide you how to fill the form, how to fill JEE, how to fill CLAT, how to fill NATA, everything, because every college has got like a complete structure who can guide you, right?
Yes, sir. So Yatin is asking, is it necessary to clear JEE exam? You have answered it. Yes, it is. It is necessary.
Yes,
JEE
but
exam
now what do you mean by clearing JEE? Students, try to understand the difference between percentage and percentile. In JEE, there is no specific percentage which you need to acquire for clearing that exam, right? You need a percentile, which everyone is going to get now. Even if your score means, I'm into this education sector since 1996, and I'll tell you a very surprising fact, that in the percentile system, even if out of 100, I get -5, still my rank can be a good one. You understand this point? This is what we mean by percentile. Because in percentile, the 100% is given to the person who has the highest score. So say for example, the paper is very tough and the highest score is 52 only. So in that case, 52 is considered as 100, and then we draw out the percentile. So a person having -5 out of 100 may be having a good rank. So that is something which you must understand. So there's nothing like clearing JEE. I must say appearing at JEE is necessary, because everyone who will appear is going to get some or the other rank, right? So clearing JEE is nothing. You have to simply appear. Same is true for CLAT or NATA or any competitive exam on this earth.
Sir, another question is, this question is from Prince. He is asking, is commerce necessary to do B Pharma? I mean, is science necessary to do B Pharma? Can commerce student do B Pharma?
Commerce students can do B Pharma also, yes. We are moving towards a liberalized age wherein such restrictions are going away. So people with all streams, they can, yes, but people with biology generally go for that. But still, to answer your question, even with commerce, you can take admission in B Pharma. You can take.
Sir, another question related with the spot admission only. This is the question by Vrinda. She is asking, is there any additional charges for the spot admission?
Well, that's a big misconception that in case of a spot admission, there will be an additional charge. My dear students, as I told, IP University is run by Delhi government, and Kejriwal ji is very, very strict. Sisodia ji is very strict. A single penny extra and the college will be debarred. So the fee is same, whether it is through on the spot or whatever, right? The fee remains the same, not even a single rupee here or there. So all my praise for the Delhi government.
Sir, another question is that, this is related with the registration process. So the student is asking, Tanisha, she's asking, what should we fill in the qualification details as the results are still not out while doing the registration?
There's a tab wherein it's written appearing. You click that tab and you can fill the form.
Also students, in case you have any questions related with the registration, I'm just typing this number in the chat box. You can simply give a call 704-266-7516. You can note down this number, students, and you can directly give a call to the admission counselor for all the queries related with the admission and on the registration on the portal, which if any one of you are facing, you can directly call our admission counselor and get your queries resolved. Right. So another question is the psychology available in IP University? Psychology course.
As I said, IPU is mainly for professional courses, so psychology is not available.
Right.
Psychology is not, like B honors psychology is not yet available. For that, you need to go to Delhi. As I said, IPU is for professional courses and DU is for academic courses.
Right.
Yes, but students with psychology, generally they do very well in, say, BBA HR, because HR is a field which is an application of psychology only, right? So BBA HR is a good option. Although in BBA you do not have like BBA HR or marketing, but in BBA like there are various subjects like HR, organizational behavior, organizational development, etc., which are derivatives which are based on psychology. So students with psychology perform very well as HR managers.
Sir, another question is that you spoke about the placements in the presentation. So can you tell us the name of few companies which generally come for placements?
For which course? Because for each course, the companies are different.
Yeah, it is a general question which the student has written. So probably we can talk about BBA, because you were talking about BBA.
I'll talk about 3-4 courses. Well, students, if lies are told in any area, it is placements. I'll tell you why. You know, like you have put up this question, which companies are providing placements. So I can name any company and you are going to believe it. But if you visit any college, you must ask those people that if Microsoft or Oracle has visited their college, then they should be having some appointment letter or offer letter from those organizations. I'll tell you course wise. When you talk about law courses, then there are law firms like Amarchand Mangaldas and like Luthra and Luthra. So many law firms which recruit students of law. Then there are the big four, as we call them, KPMG, Ernst & Young. These are also big recruiters of law students. Coming to BBA, students, whether it is Facebook or Apple or Amazon or whatever, you need people to sell to market your services and products. So for BBA or MBA, each and every company places students with these management degrees. Coming to engineering, yes, in the post-COVID era, the computer science engineering has already started moving towards a boom. And this boom is going to continue for at least 3-4 decades, which means that students who will be entering into BTech computer science now can have a very good career. And I'll tell you the reason for that. So just assume yourself, during the past 1.5 years, how much digitization of yourself has been done? Immense, I can tell you. Like if I talk about myself, I started using Paytm, Google Pay, internet banking. I started doing everything in a digital manner, which I was hesitant to do. Even your parents were hesitant to do. But if this digitization is going on, if it has just started, who's going to manage this? The computer science engineers. So this is about the scope of computer science, and you can name any company, they recruit Indians. Like we have CEOs who are Indians. So yes, as far as IT sector is concerned, you name any company and you will find they are recruiting BTech computer science from many colleges in Delhi NCR region. Talking about hotel management, you can name the big series of hotels, be it Hyatt or Moria or Taj or Ginger or whatever. So these are recruiting large number of graduates from hotel management. Talking about media placements, you name any channel, be it Z or CNN or BBC or Deutsche Welle, DW, the German news channel. So all these recruit media people, right? So this is about the placements. And yes, India is a land of opportunities. It is. And I can tell you after my experience since 1990, during the past, say 40 years or so, India has become a land of opportunities. So you find placements in all the companies. You name any company and you will find those companies recruiting in the Delhi NCR region. Yes, those companies they do not go to the hinterland. They do not go to the interior cities of this country, but they do recruit in cities like Delhi NCR, Bangalore, Pune, etc. Yes.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other question in the chat box. Any student want to ask anything? Or you can directly give a call on this number, which is already mentioned on the chat box. So I think with this, we can conclude our session. Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful presentation. I think all the students must have benefited from this. I would also like to thank Mrs. Archana Srivastav, ma'am, who was actually instrumental in bringing us together. She was not able to join in, but Sunita ma'am, you are there. Please convey our heartfelt gratitude to her. Thank you so much for all the faculties, all the students who have taken their time and joined in this webinar. Thank you all. Thank you for joining in.